Okay, I think we're live on YouTube. And I'm going to start recording. And then I'll give you a thumbs up, Heather.
Welcome, everyone, to this final panel of the symposium. There will be some workshops tomorrow, but this is the culmination of this month-long journey that we've all been in together. And the focus today is bringing us all to wholeness, re-becoming the one. I'm honored to co-facilitate today with Martha and to be part of this wonderful panel of people that Martha will introduce in a few minutes. And I also want to express incredible gratitude to this community that's been a part of this symposium, helping hold the healing energy and space of this process that we've been in together. And I want to express deep gratitude for you, Martha, for all the work that you've put in to organizing this and the profound way in which you've held that healing energy and space for this process across this month. Truly Cheroklo energy. So today, as we explore this process of re-becoming the one, coming into wholeness, I think it's extraordinary that we are in a profound time on the planet. From an astrological perspective, we're at the cusp of moving into the age of Aquarius, into new paradigms that are about how do we come back into balance and harmony with each other? How do we hold the diversity of who we are in community together? And as we're doing this symposium, Pluto has been squaring the lunar nodes, guiding us through this time of transition and transformation, and showing us that this is a karmic choice point for us individually and collectively. It is time for us to heal and step into wholeness and come back into right relationship with each other and with the earth. As we're doing this symposium today, I think it is an extraordinarily beautiful synchronicity that Mars and Venus are in Leo, conjunct the royal star Regulus, the heart of Leo the lion, guiding us to integrate the sacred masculine and sacred feminine and to come from the heart with courage. At the same time, it is absolutely amazing that as we're doing this final panel, the sun is exactly opposite the Kuiper Belt object Quawar. Quawar is this Tonga creation deity coming from a Native American tribe that dates back 7,000 years in the Los Angeles basin. But this creation deity integrated the male and female, was neither one or the other, but holding the polarity. Quawar was the creation deity who brought order out of chaos, created life by singing a song of joy and harmony and doing a dance. And Quawar initially created Father Sky and Mother Earth, and they joined in the song. And then Quawar created the mountains, the rivers, the plants, the animals, the humans. And as each were created, they joined in the song with Quawar, singing a song of harmony and joy and life and order emerging from chaos. That is the song that we can sing together, the energy that we can hold together to be co-creating a new world together. As we do this panel today, we will do it in a bit different structure than the previous panels, in that after Martha has introduced everyone, and I will call us into sacred space together, We will start the panel in the format of the Indigenous Sacred Council format, where we will be in sacred circle, allowing each of us one at a time to speak whatever truth from the heart we want to share into the circle. And again, it is that sense that together we weave that wisdom and understanding to create the wholeness. And then Martha will guide us into the discussion part of our time together. So, Martha, why don't you introduce everyone in the panel?
Thank you so much. Yes. So yeah, I would love to introduce everybody. And I want to say, you know, I feel like each of these people who are here today, to me, are a representation of the beauty and the perfection that is each of us. I feel like each of these beings each in their own way holds space for and radiates this grounded, humble reality of ourselves as love in your own ways, right? And so as I'm introducing each person, there's so many credentials I could name, and there's so many facts I could give, but I'm really feeling called to just say each person's name and really be with the being that is each of you for a few seconds. And as we're doing that, I would love for it to be a time where we're really reflecting, like the prism, the gem that is each of our beings, each of you here live and each of you watching this recording in the future. I would love to witness that in each of these beings here, one at a time. And yeah, so that's my intention. So let's start with Maura McBratney. If you want to wave, you can. But yeah, so Maura's work is, among other things, having to do with the sacred union, inner and outer, and particularly inner. And I just want to honor you, Maura. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Martha. I'm very honored to be here with everyone. Very honored.
And we have Dawn Baumann Brunke, who is coming from Alaska and does beautiful work, among other things, with animal communication and, you know, shadow work and just depth of being. And I'm so honored you're here, Dawn. Thank you. And Melanie Reinhart, you, to me, are Cheroklo energy, big time. Huge. And yeah, Melanie, among other things, I would call you. Certainly you're an astrologer, you're a writer. I also experience you as a presence of healing, just in who you are, and amazingly humble. I'm so honored that you're here too. Thank you. And Heather Ensworth, so also an astrologer, a writer, a teacher, psychologist, and so grounded and humble and many other things. Thank you so much. And Anne Bromley, coming to us from England, and the work that Anne does, among other things, has to do with our womb wisdom, our sacred seat of our true leadership, and just a real depth of bringing our spiritual presence into our whole being and our bodies, and yeah, so much more there as well. Thank you so much for being here. And Mytrae Meliana, beautiful being on so many levels also. And the work that Mytrae does, among so many things that she does, is channeling the goddess and also work around sacred union and music and sound healing. And I'm not capturing it all because it's there's just so much there. But more than anything, again, that I witnessed that beautiful jewel in that is you, and it's such an honor to be with you and have you here. Thank you. And Ari Moshe Wolfe, very good friend and beautiful being also, who, if we're going to give credentials, I mean, an astrologer, a musician, a writer, a teacher. But most of all, for me, again, is just a shining, beautiful soul who is humble and present to be loved. And that's mostly what I appreciate about you. And that's true for every single person here. So thank you, Ari. So glad you're here. There we go. And I'm Martha.
All right, let's move into sacred space together. So close your eyes. Begin to breathe in and out slowly and deeply. Allow yourself to feel your feet connecting to Mother Earth, drawing in her energy. Allow your crown chakra to open to the energies of the sky. As you breathe in and out slowly and deeply, pull in that energy of the earth through your feet and the energy of the sky through your crown. Feel them move through your whole body and allow them to meet at your heart. And now we honor moving into sacred space by honoring the ancient medicine wheel, calling in the energies of the directions. We start with the east, honoring the energy of the east and honoring in the sky the royal star of the east, Aldebaran, the eye of the bull of Taurus, grounding us, supporting us, guiding us. We call in the energy of the south and the royal star of the south, Fomalhaut, who guides us in taking in the waters of Aquarius, the waters of wisdom, the waters of life, guiding us into the age of Aquarius. Turning to the west, we honor the energy of the west and the royal star Antares, the heart of the scorpion, guiding us through times of transition and transformation. And turning to the north, we honor the energies of the north and the royal star Regulus, the heart of Leo, the lion. And we honor Mars and Venus for coming together at the heart of the lion, guiding us to live from the heart with courage. And now we stand in the center of the medicine wheel, feeling our connection to the earth and sky, feeling our connection to the center, our center chakra, the heart, and feeling our connection to the center of our galaxy. As we move into sacred circle together, all of us, we feel our interconnectedness, our being part of the oneness of all that is. We are now in sacred space together. Blessed be. And now, in sacred circle and sacred council format together, one at a time, those of us on the panel will share what we need to share from the heart into the sacred circle, knowing that together we're weaving our connections to the harmony of the spheres and the oneness of all that is. Melanie, will you start?
So I'm going to read a dream poem, which was written by a wonderful astrologer, Christina Alvarez Vila, who runs together with a colleague and friend whose name is Gloria Roca. They run a wonderful astrology school in Catalonia. And she sent me this poem. So the voice in the poem is actually Apollo, the sun god, who was, of course, the foster father of Chiron. And there's a deep resonance between Apollo and the sun represents the one at a certain level, as in the focus of the solar system. And in astrology, the sun also refers to different levels of our unfolding to our own light. And in the ancient philosophies, way back to the time of Plato, the sun represented the one, wasn't equated with that, but represented it. So here is the dream poem from a dream that Christina had in 2018. I am Apollo, my dear beloved Chiron. I want you to know, and I want everybody to know, that I can see and love your unity, the one which emerges from your delicate duality, a duality that very often hurts with what is feared and what is not, with what is recognized and what is not, with what is accepted and what is not. You can lovingly receive this duality, since it is the enlightening seed of your sacred unity, your joyful divinity. With you is the wisdom, the strength, and the passion for a new journey. Thank you, Chiron, for heroically aspiring to your wholeness, which mirrors and enriches a much greater wholeness.
Maura.
After looking through several things, I came upon a poem from Hafiz. And because of its simplicity, I felt like it had a resonance. So I'll read it first, and then. So it's because of our wisdom. In many parts of this world, water is scarce and precious. People sometimes have to walk a great distance, then carry heavy jugs upon their heads. Because of our wisdom, we will travel far for love. All movement is a sign of thirst. Most speaking really says, I am hungry to know you. Every desire of your body is holy. Every desire of your body is holy. Dear one, why wait until you are dying to discover the divine truth? And for me, what that speaks to is the huge importance of intimate connection with with ourselves. And in that way, we bring forward love. What is love? We are love. It's the relationship between masculine and feminine, inner and outer right now, feels like a huge, sometimes big thing to overcome. And yet the differences, and as we can dance with those differences and come into union with them, both in relationship interiorly and exteriorly, that's where I think the new paradigm is coming forward. And that's where I think our work is to bring that forward, so that love is really the only reality. And in that way, we really are one. So, and honoring our bodies is part of that, huge part. And that's one of the reasons I picked this poem too. Thank you.
Dawn.
Well, I just want to preface something I'm going to read by saying, for the last 20 years, one of my main connections has been with the animal world. And it's been really incredibly helpful for me to view our ongoing evolution of human consciousness through the lens and perspectives of so many different animal species. I've come to know really a wide variety of animals, animal teachers, animal guides who encourage and support us in so many ways, oftentimes in ways we're not even conscious of. So when I sat down to meditate, what would be important to bring forth today to this group, it was the polar bears who came to mind. I have a really special relationship with polar bears in the dreamland, and I've worked in partnership with them actually to write a book. So I'd like to share their views on kind of where they are and how they see us, and some of their ideas on how we might work together in a way that invites awakening. So the following is from a group of beings, spirit beings, that I know as the Polar Bear Council. They say, greetings from the far north. We are honored to add our voice to this communal collection of deep wisdom sharing. We are honored to share our presence, our teachings, and our unique resonance on this planet. With humans. That is not only our goal, but the goal of many animal species on Earth today. We will speak from our view, our perspective as light anchors in the Arctic. As polar bears, we align with the snow and ice, the sky and sun and stars, even when they are absent from our world. There is a beacon of light that shines from the Arctic, and it is this white light, this energy that we hold and protect. Let us think of this light as wisdom, of ancient knowledge that is kept in trust, in holding for future remembrance. We have worked with Dawn and many others to share our role in conscious dreaming, in partnering with humans to create bridges of awareness. We call it conscious because for us it is, and we invite you to make your deep awareness more conscious as well. This is one of our gifts. And we offer it as an invitation to join with us in creating a collective bridge of remembering so that everyone, all beings, may awaken in a more conscious way. We feel the turbulence that many humans are now experiencing. Many layers of anger, sadness, confusion, and deep, very deep fear. What we hold is clarity, simplicity, a letting go of all that is superfluous, and an opening that allows for a more conscious awareness of the deep resonance in the center of your being. Each of you is unique. You have many gifts, many powerful abilities, and many choices too. If you choose to learn more about us or any animal, including your own human tribe, you need only to breathe deep, to feel your unique resonance in the center of your being, and open your awareness to connection with your many selves and with others. We and many other animals are present in this open space to share our wisdom with you, to help you remember. And we too desire to learn from you. So bring yourself, all of your many selves, into deepened conscious awareness. Look for a paw. It is outstretched in partnership. We encourage you to draw upon your own inner strength and wisdom as you begin to remember more clearly why we are here, all of us, together in the one.
Anne.
I'm going to read an extract from a story that I received over a decade ago, but feels really relevant right now. It's called The White Pheasant, a story of love. So you need to imagine, because I'm only going to read a small bit, you need to imagine a gathering of all the creatures in the world, gathering in a sacred space to talk about where they came from and what they're doing here. And into the center of the space walks the white pheasant. And she tells them that she is the story keeper and she is also the herald of change. I'm just going to read now some of what she said. For millions of moon cycles, you have been connected with each other and with the earth herself. Your connection has been invisible, a transparent web of such fine gold dust that it could not even be seen, but you knew it was there. They nodded. This beautiful web linking you all was woven before time began, and it carries the lines of remembering to each of your hearts. Each time you breathe, you remember who you truly are. Each time you breathe, you remember where you came from. And each time you breathe, you remember what you are doing here. You have been willing to hold the remembering lines in place, even when the earth shook, even when there were storms, even when volcanoes erupted, and even when ice covered much of the land. And all the while, humans have depended upon you to remember, because they have been asleep. They have been sleeping the deepest sleep imaginable, the sleep where they forgot who they truly are. The remembering lines, which have never been lost or broken, are now beginning to dissolve because humans are waking up. Before they came to Earth, they gifted themselves a seed of remembering, planted deep inside each human body. They knew that one day the seed would start to grow and it would wake them up. Their seeds are growing now. They carry the music of creation, the heartbeat of the earth, the beauty of the rainbow, and the dance of death and rebirth. They are filling the humans with such joy and vitality. As the humans wake up, their hearts are opening and they are looking out in wonder. They are walking in majesty and speaking in love. As they wake up, they are breathing the breath of all that they truly are, and the sweetness is divine. Ah, sighed the creatures of the world, for they too knew the breath of all that they truly are. Yes, they breathe, the sweetness is divine. The seeds of remembering are as clear as crystal. The remembering lines and the crystal seeds have started to hum together, and a new diamond knowing is expanding in every direction on the earth and beyond the earth. This hum is the sound of remembering and will be with you now and forever, and the light of the diamond knowing will be visible in human eyes. This is indeed a moment of great change.
Ari.
Through every journey we take in relationship to people, to animals, to food, to place, we can all recognize that there's never any period in our life where we need the same thing or want the same thing or perceive in the same way. And our own knowledge of self, who we know ourselves to be, and what we see out there and what we're interested in, what we are not interested in, the identities we're trying on, that which we are affirming to be what we are, the work and the tenderness and the vulnerability of claiming our identity and of dissolving that identity, the ongoing process of becoming. This human journey is this inexpressible paradox, it seems, between that which we already are and the unspeakable diversity of duality, of needs and wants and explorations. As a soul, we know we are androgynous. We know that we are beyond all polarities. And there is such unspeakable significance, holiness, in the ways that we each embrace polarity, dance with them, explore them, claim them for ourselves at different moments along the soul journey. And this awakening to what we are, this journey of realization of our infinite, timeless, inexpressibly powerful being, is simultaneous to the validation and significance and importance of having the permission to say, this is who I am now. This is what I want right now. This is what I like. These are my preferences. These are my desires. We claim all of these elements, and then we also let them all go. We neither invalidate any intricate, subjective facet of our unique human experience, but we also remember that this is not who we are. And if we get stuck in either polarity, we don't truly allow for the full gift of this human journey to be received. Yes, we are spirit. Yes, we are infinite. And let us not deny the gift of our relationships. Let us not deny the gift of every facet of our human experience as inviting us into the next exploration, the next layer through which more love will become available. I was going to share a story, but it's not here, so I'm speaking these words, and maybe the story will come later. Every facet of our human experience itself, in its highest interpretation, when we are committed to a non-dual understanding of ourself, but it with such compassion that we are unwilling to use that as any reason to look upon any moment of our life with anything other than deep reverence. Every experience in its highest interpretation is another invitation back to respect, recognize, and honor the fact of our freedom, the fact of our true being, and that our realization, our awakening, our remembering of what we are is never a matter of denying or separating from any moment in our life. It is always a wholehearted reverence and appreciation for the truth of what this life is about. We often think about our human experience in terms of the identity that we think we are, trying to resolve the problems that we think we have. And this is not about shedding the identity or shedding the challenges that we feel or experience per se. It is about reinterpreting, looking back again at what we think is happening, looking back again at the stories that we hold about our life, recognizing where we are and what we need, and what's happening here is perfect. And so often only our stories about what is unfolding just keeps us from receiving the true gift. And so what I'm feeling to express in this moment, the message that's wanting to be articulated, is the unification of what we think of as the very relative, and as we're healing from the patriarchal conditionings, the importance in the diversity of possible expressions and manifestations of human experience, sexual, gender, relationship needs and preferences and identifications. There is only a growing possibility of expressions in those human realms. Only growing. This is what emerges when we heal the repression and the ideas that we have to fit the human experience into a particular way, and simultaneous to the permission to embrace a growing possibility of diverse human experience is greater possibility to then rest in what we are beyond that, to rest in the beingness that is wanting to be realized through the permission to have this human experience. I'll share this here, and maybe later on the story will want to be expressed as well.
Mytrae.
For me, one of the most profound and wonderful things, I'm saying it's a thing, but it's so.
Your hair is touching the speaker a bit.
Oh, sorry. Is this better? Okay. One of the most profound and things that fills me with wonder and gratitude, and sometimes I am reduced to tears for the love and the power that is available to us all, is the help and support and love and healing and guidance that is available to all of us from the unseen realms. And I have somehow the blessing of being able to channel divine feminine masters. And it comes through sometimes in prose and sometimes in poetry. And I want to share a poem about our relationship to our bodies and how we can connect to them. It's an invitation from them to you, and how you can connect. Thy body is light, thy body is divine, thy body is beauty, heady as wine. Will you come to her? Will you know her, sweet as a rose? Will you ask from her? For all will be given to you. Ancient we are from beyond time, masters of yore who ever shine. We are bright, we are sacred, we are beyond all. We are love, we guide, we tend, we call. We bang our drums, we play our flutes, we resound our voices, we sing our truths. We are musicians, magicians, healers too. We are mothers, priestesses, and masters who delight in your work, your words, your smiles, your body, your hearts, tender and wild. We know your struggles. We know your pain. We know it is hard to walk your path every day. We come to thee, beautiful as a rose. We love thee. We hold thee close. So much to say, so much to give. Our hearts overflow with love upon our lips. No, we are here forever, for all time. No, we are with you. We long for you to shine. We wait, we beckon, we whisper, we allow. We ask that ye only to thyselves bow, not giving yourselves away to any other, but to tend only thy body as thy lover. For she is the rose, she is thy fragrance, she is thy mystery, thy magic, thy medicine. Within her, all the mysteries await. With her, you are the only one to save. Allow her beauty, drink from her lips. She is the one, the river, the ocean from which you can sip. Dance and move, glide and soar. Allow her beauty, her power within you to roar, each one a sun, each one a light. You were not born to be small or afraid. You were born to fight. We ask that ye begin to speak thy truth, the truth of thy body, the truth of thy hearts, to not betray thyself, thy power, thy beauty, thy dreams, thy desires, any hour. This is the way of women now, never to another to bend or bow, but only thine own truth. Listen and tend and fan into a flame, a fire, a storm, a torrent, to blow down, to burn down the ways of patriarchy. We are here, the feminine ones, masters, ever free. There is much available to you, everyone now. All you have to do is to ask and call out.
For my part, I would like to share that this is a time of remembering, of healing and coming back into our wholeness. And for me, the meaning of the age of Aquarius that we're moving into is the sovereignty of the self in the sanctity of community, in unity with cosmic consciousness. the sovereignty of the self, to reweave and reintegrate the sacred masculine and sacred feminine within us, to come into balance and harmony. The sanctity of community, to remember our diversity and our interconnectedness, that we are each a fractal expression of divine consciousness. And in unity with cosmic consciousness, we are always part of the oneness of all that is. The earth is guiding us to remember. The sky is guiding us to remember. We can wake up and come back into harmony and oneness. Blessed be. Martha.
I have to stop crying so I can talk. What I'm being shown is actually the series of 8 books that I was asked to channel 5 years ago, and that I'm in the middle of channeling. And what's coming to me right now came up in the interview I did with Mytrae and the interview I did with Heather, for sure. Maybe with Maura, I can't remember, but it's feeling really, I'm being told to name this here. So what I'm feeling is a lot of grief of the suffering that's gone on this planet and that is still going on, and that goes on in our individual lives, and just the suffering of all forms of life, the animals, all of it. So I think that's the human me feeling that grief. And then I think I know for myself, and I think a lot of us are here essentially to hold space in each our own ways to help that suffering transmute. And so one of the things that has come for me is that I've been asked and told to channel this series of 8 books, which are called the Living the One Light series. And the first 3 are really a remembering of ourselves as light, the earth, and the cosmos. Living the One Light, Gaia speaks and the cosmos speaks. And then this symposium is really like a living, breathing, dynamic experience of the middle 3, which are love speaks, the goddesses speak, and the gods speak. And the first 3 I published a few years ago. The second set of 3 I have been sitting with since 2020. The first 3 were very easy. They channeled through me in like 2 days each, pretty much. They're short and they're simple, and it was very easy for me to be a channel for those. This set of 3, I channeled Love Speaks in early 2020. I channeled 3/4 of the Goddesses Speak in the summer of 2020. And then the God Speak I was just this past week told to begin channeling. So 3 years later. And I feel like that's a parallel to a lot of the energies on this planet, where our relationships to gender and sexuality are kind of like where our learning edge maybe is. It's certainly my learning edge. And what came so clear to me when I was actually doing the interview with you, Mytrae, is that the 7th book in that series is I haven't started channeling, and it's going to be called The Crystals Speak. And then the 8th one, the final one, is called The Light Speaks. So the first one is Living the One Light, and the ending one is The Light Speaks. So it's like the light is holding the whole container. And in the middle is this exploration and this healing of our relationships to the masculine and the feminine. But what's so fascinating to me, and what I'm feeling called to say here, is like, well, why? Why is that so important? And it really feels like, and I don't know the answers. The human me absolutely does not know these answers. So I would love to, I feel like when we go into the conversation of this panel, I would love to hear anything that's arising for any of you also. But it really does feel to me like part of why the spirit world has structured this series of 8 books in the way that it has is like, it suddenly dawned on me when I was talking to Mytrae that our healing of our relationship to gender and sexuality is basically like a portal. Is when we go through that portal, suddenly we can come out the other side and be ready to re-become the crystalline light form that I feel like we're being asked to move into, and then re-become the one, re-become the light, re-become the earth, the cosmos, all of it, all as one cosmic dance that we are, that it's already true. But there's something in the forgetting that we've done on this planet that it feels like this remembering of our relationship to the wholeness of ourselves as feminine, ourselves as masculine, both in that dance, the non-binary, the gender fluid, all of it, the whole gender spectrum, there's like it's crucial somehow. And yeah, again, I don't have the answers, but that's where I am with it. And yeah, so thank you. So Heather, shall we move into the discussion part? Okay, cool. Yeah, so maybe we can just pause for a minute and let all of this sink in. I feel like I need a minute. You all made me cry, which is good. But wow, it's all so powerful. And maybe we can just take a minute to, oh yeah, okay, here's the other part of what I'm being told to do. So I would love, to take a minute and just ground again and be present as ourselves. And for all of us on this panel, for all of you here live, for all of us listening, anybody listening to the recording in the future, at any point, even years and years and years from now, I really do feel us, so many of us, and if you're listening to this, I would guess it's true for you. I feel pretty strongly that a lot of us are here because we are these massive beings who just are pure love. And we're here because we love so deeply and we love so powerfully. And that's the ultimate truth, and that's the ultimate reality. And this remembering that we're doing, I feel like, is really ultimately just simply about coming back to the reality that we are pure love. That's it. And as we're doing that remembering, I'm feeling called also just to acknowledge and invite into this circle. Certainly each of us here present who, we're on the panel, each of us here, each of you live with us in this moment, each of us watching the recording in the future. And then I'm feeling called to, each of us has this light of our being, light of our heart. And so I'm feeling us, all these lights lighting up to be present together in this light grid of existence. So I'm just going to name anything and everything that I'll name the things that I'm feeling called to call into this space. And if you in the chat want to name things as well, feel free. But I would love to name and call in any and all benevolent beings who are here doing this, holding this space with us. And as part of that, I'm thinking of you, Jason Engeldo, who's one of the speakers who does ancestral healing. And yeah, I would love to call in all of our benevolent ancestors. I've been feeling mine really strongly today. I would love to call in all the animal beings and the reality that humans are animals. I would love to call in all of the plant spirits beings, all of the benevolent beings of this entire earth, every dimension of this earth, every dimension of the cosmos, the whole time space continuum, the light beings. I would like to call in every being of pure love who is wanting to be part of this, who is part of this. I'd love to call in Gaia herself, the earth body being who we are part of. And I would love to call in the divine masculine, the divine feminine, the divine person, the divine being, just the pure divinity that is everything, that is each of us. All of the above and so much more. And so it is. Amen. Okay, so we have about 30 more minutes. And so I would love to just open it up for you. What's alive? What's here? What wants to be said? Your beautiful souls know what needs to be said, and we are here. So you feel free to just raise your hand or unmute, and yeah.
It's this blossoming edge of learning that my heart yearns to give into words. And so I'm going to share this story, and I can identify the edge that I'm experiencing in where there's something so precious that I'm really beginning to see, but it hasn't fully landed in my heart. So my intention in this share is to actually really hear it and connect and go slowly with understanding what it is that is being learned. The learning is this ongoing recognition that, as I shared, the highest interpretation of every experience is to respect and reveal and support and reflect back the truth of our freedom. And this story is about the experience of, I am who I am. This is the thing that I do. This is the thing that I like. This is what I've always been doing. And these are my needs. And the preciousness of knowing that, and also what it's like to become undefended in our self-knowledge, and what always blossoms beyond our own control in the state of undefendedness, which is where we can say every identity structure itself is just the stepping stone to the next healing, if understood right, if embraced with openness. I never ate bacon. I don't know if I ever will. Probably if I were to follow the pattern of my life, I might at some point. Grew up Orthodox Jew. The smell of it's nauseating, but more so just the conditioning of bacon. It's the most unkosher food you can possibly think of. Its smell makes itself known. It permeates the entire house and sticks to the walls. It's a very present food. In my family, there's been an ongoing journey of adjustment. Okay, I'm not kosher, I'm not Orthodox, but there's still familiarity with certain things and comfort. And for a while, my family partner, Michelle, was not eating bacon, just to really honor and respect that Ari comes from a particular context. And if I was ever in a home, or if anyone ever invited me over for a meal, I would say, oh yeah, I don't eat pork. I don't eat pig products. So she respected that. But at a certain point, we all really wanted to honor, we should be eating what we want to be eating in this family. And I don't want her to not eat bacon if that's what she wants to eat, if that's what she's always been eating. So we opened to embrace that. And I received the gift of knowing what I feel, but not needing to control. And this is the edge that I think we all walk on our journey, when we both respect ourselves, know our values, know what we want, know what's true, meaning there's an element in that that requires some level of healing of all the ways we've been told, be this, do that, want that. Whatever it might be, that importance of self-respect. But then the kind of relaxing ourselves a bit and not needing to control the next moment, not needing to have an answer for where the gifts of healing and forgiveness want to enter into our lives. And so I get the opportunity to live here, but more so my daughter loves bacon. I get to make her bacon. And this is the point. This is the thing that's blossoming in my heart that I yearn to express, but more so yearn to love and just live with more deeply. We're here to forgive. The purpose of the human existence isn't just to have a good relationship or hold a good sense of, this is my work in life and what I want. And purpose is never like, my purpose is to do X, Y, and Z. These are all transient. The body is transient. Human experience is transient. If we understand the deeper teaching of this human experience beyond the seeming realness of all time-space experience and the identities that we create, it's just the unraveling. And in the unraveling, we'll say, well, to unravel, I need to be this person. And we become this kind of person. And we claim this kind of person. So we have a vehicle through which we can have these unraveling experiences. And then that person itself needs to kind of relax and undo a bit. It's a poetry, and it's sort of inexpressible, because it is the interface between the very seemingly real, solid illusion of this temporal human life and all the personal preferences and needs and identifications that they're real. If I do something that is not right for me from a Libra perspective, if I say yes to something that's a no, that doesn't help. If I am not authentic about my desires, about my sense of identity, that doesn't help. So we have to embrace that. And then it's all just the next stepping stone to a safe and kind letting go of judgment, of rules, of control. And we don't have to know who we are there. We don't have to know what happens next. We just have to allow. That's the thing that's learning here, and that's what's wanting to be shared. Thank you for allowing me the space to offer this learning. I've made attempts several times to express this in various ways on my YouTube channel, and each time it's like, I don't know how to say it. because it's more of a song and a poem than a thought, you know.
Mm. Excellent. Thank you. Who else feels called to speak? Don.
I just wanted to say I really enjoyed that story. I love the message of kind of stepping lightly with ourselves and being a little bit more fluid in the world, huh? Part of what I've been working with this last several years is shadow, about bringing all of our shadow selves into more conscious awareness, our abandoned selves, our wounded selves, our angry, bitter selves, our controlling selves, and really just kind of being fluid with them and inviting them into conversation, inviting them into connection. And what I found is the more I open to that in a conscious way, the more those selves come up to meet me and the more we are in communion. And there really is a dance, a poetry, a movement with that. And I think the more we do that, the more whole we become. And when we're whole, we're wise. And we know the answers and we know how to step lightly on the earth. And we know how to extend that to others, Yeah. So there's a beauty in that. So I love the bacon story.
Thank you. Heather.
I love that, Dawn. And I just want to add to that, I love the Rumi line, the wound is where the light comes in.
And Anne.
And as I heard you, Dawn, what I realized is that we come to see it all as sacred. And that's also what I see us embodying in this new paradigm, that there is no part of us or anything that has ever been created that is not wholly sacred.
Mm.
Mm.
Anything else arise? I can ask a question if nothing is arising. But if Melanie, do you have something you want to say? Yeah.
Dawn, I loved the way that you embodied the sense of fluidity with your gestures and flagging up that quality. And for me, part of my journey, and I know I'm not alone in this, is something about learning the art, or perhaps the sacred art, of having that fluidity be loving enough to actually include parts of me or phases of experience where I'm definitely not fluid. I am stuck. I am rigid. I am hung up, as in on a tree or something. And to learn how not to reject or abandon that because it isn't fluid, but to find out how the fluidity moves with that. And as I say that, I think of a current of water kind of turning into an eddy where the water goes around and around like a rock or a branch or something that's in the stream. And for that condition or stage or phase of stuckness and rigidity and fear, etc., to also be acknowledged because it too is sacred. Thank you.
Thank you. That actually relates very much to a theme that came up a lot in this symposium, and I would love to hear any thoughts on this. We have about a little over 10 more minutes. So something that came up for me, and I think came up for others, is this reality that as we are holding space for this healing of our world, the reality is that there's still a lot of hurt happening, and there's still a lot of things not feeling good, or people behaving in ways that maybe we wish they wouldn't, or maybe we behave in ways we wish we wouldn't, or whatever it is. And so yeah, I'm wondering if any of you have any thoughts on, especially my sense of this time astrologically, and just in my own experience, my own life, is that it's intensifying in a sense. And so it's easy for things to get even more polarized in this moment, which can often not really, truly not feel good. And then it's easy. I've even just in the last few weeks, I've had to kind of right myself several times. I have to be very conscious and deliberate about bringing myself back to center, back to love, back to my own grounding, my own alignment. And that's a lot of times easier said than, I mean, harder than, oh my goodness, what's the phrase? Easier said than done. Yes, there we go. It's been difficult a lot of the time. So I'm wondering if anybody has any thoughts for people as we're navigating this moment. You know, how do we do this? What are some tools? What are some really practical? Yeah, Anne. And then Heather.
What I'm aware of that works for me is to notice what I'm holding in terms of a challenging experience or polarities, but then to turn to look at that which is holding, which is vaster, infinite than the suffering.
Beautiful. Thank you. Heather.
Following up on what Anne just said, I think the ancient archetypal medicine wheel is so helpful in those times, because it does create this container for us to hold space for all that we feel, all the parts of ourselves. But ultimately, the journey with the medicine wheel is to come to center, to be in that alignment with the soul self, the part of us that is infinite, that is connected to the oneness of all that is, but to hold compassion and space for all that we feel, all that we are, that's around the circle of the medicine wheel and part of who we are. And for me also, in this time, with the intensity of what we're dealing with, it helps me to hold that larger astrological understanding that we are seeing the death throes of the patriarchal period. And as those paradigms are dying, the most extreme versions of them are getting activated to try to be in control and hang on to the structures of the past. But in that chaos and in that intensity, there is this incredible awakening that's happening in a phenomenally rapid way. So I think part of the challenge for us in that intense polarization is, again, to be in the witness self, holding the awareness of the larger death rebirth that we're in, so that our energy is really focused on birthing what is emerging and not getting caught in the chaos of what is dying.
Mytrae. Thank you, Heather. Oh, we can't hear you. You're not muted. Just keep speaking. Sometimes
Can you
people are
hear me?
there.
Can you
Yes,
hear me?
there we go.
Okay. Those are both beautiful and powerful. And what I would add is there's so many modalities, and I think for each of us and all those who are listening to choose whatever modalities work for you and that you resonate with. But as someone who works with sound, I found it to be extraordinarily powerful. And we all have a free tool, a free instrument, which is our voice. And when you don't have to be, it's not about being a singer, but just the act of sounding or humming releases and works on every body, from your physical body, emotional body, mental, spiritual, energetic. And so it's the swiftest thing that I know that works, because it works in your cells, your tissues, vibrationally. So the simple act of singing or humming, or even when you're going through the throes of whatever's really hard, just try sounding your emotions. I mean, we all know what it's like to go, right? I mean, just that the expression of frustration is good because we naturally express what needs to be expressed. And part of how we heal our bodies is through sound, through movement, by using the body, and allowing the freedom of sound, of our own personal expression. And in the beginning, it may come as a form of healing, but as you use your voice, and you can just tone. Toning is just something as simple as that. You can just do this anywhere. And if you just do it literally for a minute or two, first of all, your stress levels will just hugely reduce. It gives you that tool that you can use momentarily through the day. But if you choose to make it a practice, your voice has the capacity and the power to lead you into the interior, what Teresa de Avila calls of your castle, into the depths and the layers of your soul, where you come to know yourself, of who you are beyond words, the truth of you that cannot be expressed, but is so regal, so majestic, so queenly, so kingly, so divine. So, and as you unsheathe those layers and discover and melt and fall into the layers of yourself with your voice, it's that simple and that profound. You discover, and your soul begins singing its soul song.
That ties so beautifully to what Heather said in the beginning about Quawar. Yeah, being who's sang into existence everything. Anyone else? Any practical ideas? In particular, I'm also really feeling how many people have expressed during this time feeling alone, feeling profoundly alone.
Yeah.
And so I'm wanting to name that. And if, Maura, go for it.
So yes, to what everyone said, it's beautiful. And what I'm feeling, what you were saying in the beginning, Martha, about when we're trying to hold a bigger container, and yet there's this hurt that comes in, which feels personal. It feels like, like throws us off the center, and how to get back to that, and the aloneness too. When that happens to me, I stop. I just stop everything to see what's really trying to be told to me. What am I really feeling? What is the other person trying to say? How does that fit into the overall scheme of my life in terms of staying centered, being in alignment, staying in my heart? Oftentimes that's the thing I come back to is, okay, can I come back to my heart? Can I come back to that place that says, okay, I am love. This is happening. They are loved too. This is happening. And how do we hold it all and still say in ourselves, and yet not get to stay fluid, as Ari was saying, to not get calcified in this positionality of, okay, I've got my stuff together. You know, how do we meet this other person also? I'm taking it to relationship a little bit more than, you know, the more global. So I think another way is to, especially in the aloneness, is like, see if you can have anyone you can reach out to, even for a minute. Sometimes that makes a difference. And breathe through your heart. Breathe through what is hurting. And see what wants to come out on the other side, because usually there is another side, just like what Ari was saying, you know. And I love bacon. I really love bacon, Ari. Just saying. My partner doesn't, but I do. So
I really don't.
Anyway, so it's like, where do we embrace our humanness as well as know that we're connected to the divine and that we are the divine? And how do we stay embodied with what's happening rather than leaving our bodies or calcifying ourselves in a position of, okay, I've got my stuff together, I'm holy, I'm good, because it is all sacred. All of it, the dance is sacred. That's it.
Thank you.
I want to share this that there's a beautiful teaching in A Course in Miracles that invites us to contemplate, I am not upset for the reasons I think. And the more I look at that, whether it's a personal issue or body concern or a thing that I don't want to be happening or a global thing that upsets me, whatever it is, the same learning seems to apply. And that's just where there is so much value, again, in this stance. It's the same interpersonally, internally, it's all the same learning. To have a sort of stance of softness and non-possessiveness to the present moment experience. Because we don't actually know as much about our upset, our discomfort, other than the sensational experience of it. There's so much more to know. And you know that experience if you have a child where they're really resistant to something and really they just need to be held, or they're tired and they just need connection for a moment. And then that really strong resistance or that really strong craving, it's like not there anymore. It's almost like it's a different experience entirely. It's not that I'm not hungry and I don't want to eat dinner, even though that's the present moment experience. The idea of eating dinner can feel so scary and hard and hurtful to a child that is emotionally dysregulated. And so in that moment, it feels so real. Don't make me eat. But we're just like that, right? This thing really bothers me. I really don't like that. That's the trick. It's sort of a trick that we're all playing on ourselves. Every feeling is valid, but our story about it is actually, I think, 100% always wrong. And it's really cool to investigate that.
Awesome. So we're needing to come to a close, and would love to be with you for much longer. Ari is going to close us with a song. Before we do that, I would love to hear maybe one or two words from each of you of when you are in a moment of feeling off center or alone or suffering, feeling a human suffering in some way. Could you each say one or two words, like really, really, really brief, one or two words for real? What's a resource that is, or a presence, or just something that, what's a go-to for you? I would love to hear, what arises as a way to close and give this into the world. Yeah, Mytrae.
For me, it's nature and music.
Beautiful. I'm going to go around the circle. Maura.
Breathing and heart centered. Staying in my body.
Dawn.
I have too many. I would agree with that. Staying in the body, staying present, feeling center, breathing deep. Long answer.
Yeah, thank you. Anne.
All of the above, and a seeking of what is true. Like asking myself, is this true? Yeah. A commitment to truth.
Ari.
This is here. I'm open to learn.
Mm.
And probably more singing. That would be yeah.
Heather.
Holding it all in compassion and sacred space.
Melanie.
Breathing and acceptance and music.
I hear a big theme of music, so it's perfect we're ending with music. Wonderful. Okay, so just on a practical note, before Ari takes this out into the world and spreads this healing and love to all of existence, I will say, yes, this is the last official part of the free symposium, but everything is available indefinitely. All of the free talks are going to be available indefinitely. Please continue to watch them. Please continue to comment. I will still be reading the comments and sharing them with the speakers. Please, continue to share it with anybody you feel called to share it with. And please continue to be part of the community that has been forming, that's so powerful and so beautiful. Tomorrow, Friday, there are the last 3 paid optional workshops. Those 3 humans who will be doing them are here today. So Anne will be first at 9 a.m. Pacific. Maura will be at noon Pacific, and then Ari will close us out at 3 Pacific tomorrow. And yeah, you're all welcome, of course, at those. And yeah, but this to me feels like a closing and a beginning. I don't know yet what the beginning is too, but it absolutely feels like a moment of dropping in, grounding, aligning, and starting something fresh. And so please continue to be present as you feel called. And thank you all so much for being part of this month together. Thank you to all of these panelists and all of the other speakers who have been part of this, all of the participants. Yeah, and so my prayer is that as we close this panel, as we close this month together, and as Ari sings for us, that we again come into the reality that we are Earth, we are the cosmos, we are the light, we are that whole light grid of infinity existence, the whole time-space continuum, that we are being held by these massive beings that I see holding the space of the whole time-space continuum all the time. And I would love for anything and everything here that has felt right and good to be assimilated into each of us as it's just right for each of us. Let the rest go and transmute back into the light, and send these blessings everywhere. Thank you each so much. And Ari, take us into the future and the present.
I enter this moment, I focus my will, I open my consciousness, breathing I am still, breathing I am still. I dedicate this body, I dedicate this place, a vessel for holiness, surrender to grace. I surrender in grace. Forgiving the past, relinquish the future. I choose this moment. I choose love. 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 I choose love.
Absolutely perfect. Perfect song. Thank you all so much. See you all again soon. Thank you. To be continued.
That was profound to be with all of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Martha, for
Thank you.
creating this.
Martha, thank you, Martha. And Heather, thank you.
Thank you all. Co-creative moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, big thanks to everybody.
Mm.
Really.
And so much more happened than was visible or audible.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I honor
Yes.
everybody in that.
Mhm.
Yep. For sure. See you all again soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.